challenges that we face today in science, industry, manufacturing, politics, and the workplace can be stunningly different from those that our ancestors confronted, and we can probably predict that our own sons and daughters will confront challenges that are far beyond anything that we can foresee. As parents and as responsible citizens, we can no longer leave to chance the preparedness of our children to meet the challenges and to take advantage of the opportunities that will confront our sons and daughters 10, 20, or 30 years from now.
The students at Washington Irving asked Senator Robert C. Byrd a few questions about education, and we would like to share his responses with you. The first question is,
Senator Byrd, how has education changed since you were in school?
Well, this school, with its impressive high-tech components, is a significant departure from my schoolboy days. I started my schooling in a modest two-room schoolhouse. We didn't have computers. We'd never heard of them. We didn't have television sets. We'd never heard of them. We didn't have videos. We'd never heard of them. But we did have those things that make for a good education, and those things have not changed from my childhood. I had teachers who were dedicated and caring, teachers who inspired their students to learn. I had good textbooks that challenged and excited the reader. And I had parents who reared me with strict but loving hands, who instilled in me the need for self-discipline and a strong sense of basic values that continue to guide me daily. These are the enduring hallmarks of a good education and the foundation of solid perspectives on life.
We must think ahead, far, far into the future. And we must set our youth on educational trajectories that will better assure their future success in world competition and in achieving a standard of living that Americans have come to expect over the past several decades.
Since its opening in 1913, Washington Irving High School has served the Clarksburg community by providing its students with the highest quality education. As the flag is now lowered for the final time, WI's proud tradition will continue into the 21st century as we make the transition to the magnificent Robert C. Byrd High School.
As we bid a sweet goodbye to Washington Irving High, we can tip our hats to a reminiscent past. A past of smiles, a past of tears, full of hopes and unimaginable fears. Now a new day has set, new challenges to be met, opportunities unbound, new futures to be found.
This is a very special occasion, the Robert C. Byrd groundbreaking, something we've been looking for here in this county school system and the community for several months. So we're excited about that. As we gather here today to participate in a historical occasion which will mark the beginning of a new era in education in Harrison County. This event will take students, teachers, administrators, and the community. So we're one giant step closer to the 21st century, bringing with it a new state-of-the-art high school containing the most modern technology that will prepare our young people for the challenges that lie ahead.
Investment in developing the minds and the intellects of our children are among the wisest, most far-seeing investments that we can make. Affording our children the best education possible is one of the most important contributions that we can make to the future security, strength, and prosperity of our state and nation. And so I commend the leaders and the citizens of Clarksburg and Harrison County for the vision that you are showing in launching the construction of the school for which we are breaking ground today. And I commend you for passing the $38 million bond issue that makes this construction possible.
Senator Byrd, what do you perceive to be the importance of technology in today's schools and in the future?
In this age, an education lacking the exposure to telecommunications and computerization is simply not complete. These ever-evolving technologies are part of our world for the foreseeable future, and a well-educated person must have a command of them in order to compete in the expanding global economy. The advanced technologies provided at the Robert C. Byrd High School will help to prepare young West Virginians for the challenges of the 21st century. Now, that is not to suggest, however, that these impressive technologies alone make for a well-rounded and complete education. Students must be grounded in the basics: math, science, English, and history. They should be exposed to great works of literature, art, and music. And they should have roots in the basic values of hard work, love of family, respect for authority, loyalty to community and country, and reverence to God.
When you name a school for a person, what does that really mean? What is the significance of that? Well, I can tell you what it means to me, and what I hope it means to this community for a long time. And that is, as young people grow up in a community and they ask their parents, who is Robert C. Byrd? I want people to be able to say to their kids, Robert C. Byrd was the person in West Virginia who held more important public offices than any man in the history of this state. He was the most important man in the United States Senate for years. He was West Virginia's most revered and respected public servant. While he accomplished that, he also wrote the best history ever written about the United States Senate. He had the right values, and he believed in himself and in his country. And he grew up to be this important person because he used the God-given talents he was given to the greatest extreme he could. That's what I admire about Robert C. Byrd. He's a great man. He's a great example to each and every one of us. And as you name this school for him, his name lives on forever and ever and continues to be an example for all of us for generations to come.
Senator Byrd, what are your feelings about having this school named after you?
As one who prizes education, I think it is one of the greatest of honors to have a school carry my name. I know what a difference education can make in one's life, and I hope that my experiences may serve as an inspiration to the young people who will walk the halls of the Robert C. Byrd High School. I hope they'll never stop trying to learn, never stop seeking higher and higher levels of education. Never, never stop trying to excel.
The principal of Washington Irving High School, the new Robert C. Byrd High School, Mr. Leon Pelusi,
has the distinction of being chosen 1995 West Virginia Principal of the Year. Mr. Paluski will now tell us about the modern facilities at the new Robert C. Byrd High School.
Thank you, Andrew. On September 28, 1991, the voters of Harrison County passed a bond so that a new school could be built to replace Washington Irving High School. In turn, WI would become a middle school. The site for the new school is along State Route 98. Robert C. Byrd High School will accommodate grades 9 through 12. Its capacity is 1,200 students, and the building encompasses over 189,000 square feet. The total cost of the project exceeds $20 million. Areas of interest in the building include a state-of-the-art theater with orchestra pit, a 2,000-seat gymnasium, the communications center for all Harrison County schools, an applied technology lab, and a college-style lecture hall. The 35-acre site contains a 7,500-seat football stadium, varsity baseball and soccer fields, and physical education and band practice fields. We hope to occupy the new school sometime in January 1996.
And finally, the students of the new Robert C. Byrd High School have one last question. Senator Byrd, what advice would you give to a high school student?
Well, never be satisfied with your last level of achievement. Never stop growing. Never cease wondering. Never end your search for excellence. Mediocrity is not good enough anywhere or any time. I firmly believe that we all carry an obligation to ourselves, to our country, and to our Creator to make ourselves the best of whatever we choose to be. We have a duty, not merely to measure ourselves against the obvious competition, but to measure ourselves against our own promise.
The concepts of school and community will be mutually embedded. Adults will be in the school, young people will be in the community. Resource materials, electronic aids, computers, satellite connections. All kinds of emerging technologies will be interwoven with learning opportunities. Virtual reality will have a profound effect on our schools. A medical student training to become a surgeon sits before a computer system equipped to enable her to see, hear, and feel a simulation or three-dimensional heart. A social studies student is linked by internet with students in Canada, Bermuda, and the United States. These students can look into Hawaiian volcanoes, similar to those on Mars, and help to look for signs of life and to analyze air and soil samples. These examples of virtual reality are not science fiction. They have recently happened and will continue to happen at the new Robert C. Byrd High School. We salute Superintendent Robert Kittle for being a visionary, for leading us into the 21st century. The Robert C. Byrd High School, a futuristic school, the dream that became a vision, and the vision that became a reality.